No, but I want to turn the music down for my phone because they gotta run that. They gotta run that sound system for the mics. Yes. Again, thank you all so much for coming to Future of the Scene, a Ballroom Town Hall. This is our third town hall that we've had this year, and I would like to make the announcement tonight that my brother Byron and I will be taking this platform nationally in the next 6 months. So hallelujah for that. All right, so tonight is a very, very special night. Not only do we have the new edition of my brother Byron, Miyaki Mugler, but we have some of my favorite women of the West Coast on the panel to talk. Yes, give it up for the dolls of the West Coast. We're gonna have a really powerful conversation about gender identity, and I think this conversation is so important to have when we are in a space as a community in a country where we're really grappling with queer issues, really grappling with gender identity. So I think who best to have this conversation with than some of the trailblazers of the West Coast. So I want to give it up to my brother to do our introductions.
Yes. Make some real noise. Stop playing LA. Yeah. Shout out to Adam. Oh, we love, baby. As previously stated, for the few of you who might not know, I am the endlessly whimsical and ever legendary Byron Juicy Miyaki Mugler. Yeah, that's good. Congratulations, yeah. I'm so proud of you. It is my pristine honor to be alongside of this one, my favorite odd number, 11, 1. Yeah, shout out to Egypt because it's giving 22 tonight. Yes. But so I want to formally introduce you and welcome you to Future of the Scene, a Ballroom Town Hall of Gender Identity. First and foremost, I want to let you know congratulations on your 3rd edition. You have been doing your big one for APLA, for our here, and most importantly, our community. And for sure, with this being the official launch of West Coast Awards Weekend, let's be clear, it is essential that we highlight and honor the women in which our shoulders, our community, and ballroom stand upon. So I'm so honored to be here to highlight these women. Let me be your, come on, in my Doja voice, So, should we start?
Let's get it started.
Should we start, bringing the icons and the legends on down?
Let's start with my mother.
Oh, you talking that West Coast princess?
That West Coast.
Oh, we giving the LSS, I'm gonna keep it formal. Okay, let me go. Just should we get DJ drop the beat on?
I can drop a little beat.
Should we give a little beat? Or the women down for a little beat, LSS cup of tea?
Let's get a beat going.
Let's get a little beat going. And if you know Mooga, oh my, you don't want no LSS? Okay. What? Oh, okay. We're gonna carry some. We're gonna take it for tomorrow too. All right. Well, first, let me stand. Now, I want to introduce one of the many reasons I am a part of the international iconic Hall of Fame house of Miyaki. Y'all know the name by now. Let's be clear. I introduced the song, but always the room. My West Coast princess and my mother, Diamond Xavier, Miyaki Mugler. Come on down. Yeah, look at you. Pop, that 11K nominee. That 11K nominee. 1 of 3 from the West Coast. Let's be clear. Yeah. Next, I want to introduce my TT, fresh from her appearance at Out of the Park at Six Flags. Y'all know him as the West Coast Grand Prize winning house of St. Laurent.
West Coast mother.
You already know. Let's be clear. Legendary West Coast mother of the house of St. Laurent. My TT, that's an OG here. St. Laurent. St. Laurent. St. Laurent. St. Laurent. Now another 11K nominee. Y'all know who it is. Duh. One of the astutely placed runway masters of not only the coast, not of this nation, but our community overall.
Up and coming icon.
Up and coming icon. Let's be clear. my good Jim. Baby, let's give it up for GTC legendary. GTC girl. It's TC girl. Coming from behind. It's TC on your mud. All right, last but not least. If y'all out west, y'all know who she is. Because what the songwriter teaches us, but you better learn who to run it, because all this money gotta come through me. I want to give it up for the mother of the West Coast herself, the icon, ICON, gorgeous Gucci! Icon, Viva! Of course, officers, we know that Icon is one of two promoters for this weekend for the West Coast Awards Ball. So shout out, we thank you for officially launching your weekend here with us, okay? Definitely. No, thank you. And of course, as we all know, today is the official launch. Tomorrow we have the Kiki with myself, legendary Byron Juicy, and Icon's son, West Coast father, Juicy Couture. Shout out to Journey, we love you. And then Saturday, the big chop chick. Come get your OTY, no shame. With Icon Divine and of course legendary, the Lawyer's Ninja. Brother?
Yes, I just got one more shout out I would like to make. We have some amazing sandwiches that were brought to us by King's Deli, by our very own sister Rosie Juicy Ninja. So I want to thank King's Deli for helping us out with those amazing sandwiches. And if you're ever in the Burbank area, make sure you stop by King's Deli and get you a fab sandwich. I like the brisket myself. The pastrami is over as well. All right, so the turkey was good too. Amen to the turkey. So we're gonna get things started. We have a little intimate crowd tonight, but that's all right because we have the ladies that make the things happen. So first, I just want to hollow this space and just acknowledge that this is a safe space where we are going to talk about some sensitive issues, but I just want everyone to have an understanding this our intention to create a safe space to have a meaningful conversation. So, is this a safe space, everybody? Yeah. All right, we're gonna dive right in. All right, so again, we would like for you. I'm gonna go down the panel and. This mic is for Diamond and Divine. That mic is for Tiana and Gia. I believe they're on. They should have a green light on it. But I want you to please tell us your name, your pronouns, your house affiliation, and your tenure in Ballroom. I think it's a good space to start by letting the people know your history. So your name, your pronouns, your titles, your status, if you have any, and your tenure in Ballroom. And we're going to start with my mother, the Celestial Jewel.
Hi, my name is Natalie. I've been in Ballroom now for 9 years, and I'm the West Coast princess.
Yeah, so what house?
Miyaki. Oh, my pronouns are she, hers, and hers.
Real light, honey, okay. I am Icon Mother Divine, gorgeous Gucci. I have been in Ballroom 27 years.
Icon.
Don't clap for that.
And my pronouns is bitch. It's her, she, never it.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Mother Giatishi, legendary Mother
Let's be clear.
Giatishi. I've been affiliated with Ballroom for 21 years. And my pronouns are she, her.
You can use that one.
Oh, that's this thing. Is this thing on?
You see the green button?
It's green, right?
Yeah.
Testing.
Hold it like
Press it.
No, you gotta speak with authority.
I gotta speak with it.
Yeah.
Oh! Okay. I am the legendary mother, Tiana St. Laurent. I have been in Ballroom for like 12 years. 2011 is when I started. That's how you want it for me, right?
Yes, that's fine now. If you want to take the
Oh, she, her, man.
ma'am.
It's made for me. Yes, thank you, man. Yes, so let's dive right into it, shall we? First question, keeping in regards to the topic at hand. What does the term gender identity mean to you? Let's start with you, Mother Gia. Legendary.
Gender identity honestly means to me who I am inside, what I represent from the inside. I think that's what it means.
I love that. Yes, Icon, you want to grab this?
Sorry,
Millennials.
Yeah, no, shake your table. Gender identity really don't mean shit to me.
to be honest, because I'm gonna be me regardless where I am, however I am. This is me, whether however you see it, you wanna see it as trans, as gay, as whatever you wanna see it, it's fine with me. Just respect me. But I mean, I identify as divine. I'm just me.
Go ahead, Princess. Yes.
I mean, I agree on
You have to have.
not.
No.
I feel like it's an easy definition.
Yeah.
Who you identify.
Yes. Legendary, would you like to end this legendary mother?
Is it or is it who people identify you with? That's where it gets tricky for me. I definitely think it's your own interpretation and obviously expression means to you. And to me, it's just shit. I'm kind. Okay, like, so you will address me as such, nothing more, nothing less, like bitch, just kind. That's
Ma'am.
That's ma'am. That's how I identify. That's what it means to me. And yeah, everybody else said great things.
Okay, so this space
is designed to also be educational. So for those who aren't aware, can you describe the differences between the terms transgender, transsexual, and gender nonconforming? Because we know that they kind of go hand in hand, but who better than to explain it for the children than you all? So let's start with Princess Diamond.
Okay. So transgender can be seen as an umbrella. It just means that someone identifies with the opposite sex. That is the dictionary definition of transgender. A transsexual is someone that has altered their body by taking hormones, by having surgery to appear on the outside how they feel in the inside. That's a transsexual. Gender nonconforming is someone that doesn't conform to any of male, female, trans man, trans woman. They are just non-conforming. Usually pronouns are they, them.
That's educated Princess.
Anybody want to add to this?
That sums it up for me.
Yeah.
She cleared it.
No cheating. Grand prize. Yeah, let's do it. It's all right. Well, let's move right along, shall we? Now, what role does categories like realness play in a person's gender identity? As we know, that's one of the most historic categories of ballroom, and we all participate in ballroom. So yes, what role do you feel realness play? I said I got it.
One more time.
Yes, so the simple question, what role do categories like realness play in a person's gender identity?
It plays a big role in a person's gender identity, but the role that it plays depends on the person's security within self. Okay. For me, realness was just reaffirming, even with a child. I didn't go home feeling any less feminine or less of a woman than I did when I stepped on the stage. So for me, realness didn't do anything, but I have seen the effect it has on some other people. So it definitely has an effect. It could be negative or positive. It's all on your perception and your security within self. If you know who you are, nobody else can tell you who you are.
Yeah.
Can I piggyback?
No, please.
Well, I definitely agree with her on that. And I don't even think that just pertains to realness. I think that is like, we're gonna generalize that when it comes to ballroom and just placing yourself in a place to be judged and criticized by a group of people, it takes a really, really thick layer of skin. You know what I mean? So I think coming into ballroom, if you're interested and new, you should definitely want to consider the simple fact that you will be criticized by people a lot.
Legendary Mother Tiana.
I think over the years, realness has definitely progressed in a lot of different ways. I think with society and people being a lot more openly expressive to be whoever the fuck it is they want to be that day. But when I was fortunate enough to come up under the leadership of Divine, like she was very hard on the realness people. It was like, bitch, if you're gonna be a girl, your skin needs to be as smooth as a baby's bottom. If you're gonna be if you're gonna be a male figure realness, you need to be your category at all times. Like you have to. It's a lifestyle.
Yes,
not
it's a
really
lifestyle.
like a category, because in order to make anyone believe it, you have to believe it first, right? And if you don't believe it, then girl, it's not gonna be believable. And I definitely think it is in a lot of ways reaffirming, especially like when you get that acknowledgement from your community, because ideally those are the ones who are going to celebrate you. So you want to get it at home first, and then outside of that, it's even more rewarding because it's like, bitch, I'm not getting beat up when I walk outside my house, or they're not laughing at me or pointing at me. You know what I mean? Like when I, from my experience, people typically transition because they want it to be passable. And now where we're at is kind of like, people have that wiggle room to be in between if they want to be, or they can have a beard and chest if, they want, or they can have a bob. It's so many different layers now from when, I first came into it. And I think that's also the beautiful thing, because I don't think people should necessarily have to fit into a box if they don't want to. But I personally want my people to be that. I mean, that's how I was raised, So yeah.
Grand prize inclusivity, I see. Princess, did you have any thoughts on this before we transition to the next one?
I agree with everyone. I feel like it could be a touchy subject. It's a touchy category. I feel like personally, I will never walk on it. I just don't feel like a Rich Queen telling me whether I'm real or not is something I live this life every day. Like I live as a woman. I am a woman, so I just choose not to indulge. But I do understand how it can harm in some ways. But I do understand the history of realness as well. And
Thank you for that.
Thank you. I think realness is one of the most fascinating categories in ballroom. Tiana, you kind of touched on it about historically, it used to be about a lifestyle and how you were trying to fit into a binary and be able to pass. So I kind of want to pivot a little bit from away from the page and ask the question, in the world where we are evolving and being more inclusive, how do we fit gender non-conforming and GNC into the realness category?
Oh, God. Are you going to shake the number?
We're going to shake the table a little bit. We said this is a safe space. This is a safe space.
Become a yellow.
Become a yellow cat, yeah.
Horse and carriage. Horse and carriage.
Here we go. From my perspective, gender non-conforming is choosing not to conform, correct?
Correct.
Meaning I'm not going to be this or that.
I'm going to be a that.
So when you choose to walk a category that has labels on it, you're conforming.
Brah, brah.
Another thing, if you are gender non-conformant, how do we judge you? You're not conforming. So what makes this real? You are real what? What are you?
A real day.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, but it sounds.
You a real person.
No, you're a real
But-
day because you identify between the two.
Yes.
That's the.
You're limitless.
So how do we get realness out of?
Because there's real days out there.
No, it's either it's an apple or it's an orange.
Not in this day and age.
Not
There's peaches. There's plums.
Right, because Snapple has an apple orange
That's
flavor.
true.
Yeah,
But okay, but my thing is, those things have a name. I just to be whatever you are, you're conforming.
Can I pick as in that?
Yes.
I just feel like it.
You're in a
To be honest, Ballroom, everybody. I feel like if you're a good leader, you start with how things originated, right? You educate based off of the history, right?
That's the foundation.
Right.
Yes.
So the foundation of this category, it stems from people wanting to blend in society and self, right? So it's like, yes, times are changing, but these categories, a lot of them are cemented and set in stone. And it's like people have spent light years on their gender expression and their bodies and their transitions, you know what I mean? Like people are icons and pioneers of these categories. So how do you then go back in return and say, hey, like, girl, yeah, we understand all the work you put in, but we're gonna tweak a few things and we're gonna make it okay for people to come out here with breasts and a beard. Like, it's like when
It is okay.
but it's not, because realistically they won't get 10.
My thing is,
It's okay. It's okay for their preference. It's okay for you to come
We
out
have
here
to
with
do
it.
as leaders, we have to create a new space. We have to open up those doors. As pioneers, that's our job.
we gave you
More
GNC
than
runway,
open.
GNC face,
Yeah.
but realness is something that we just can't GNC in my mind.
I mean, growing up in high school, did you see the little twink boy in the hallway getting called a faggot?
Yeah,
That's GNC realness. Does that make sense?
So you have to look
no,
at it.
because it's not real.
But
That is real.
But
That is passing. You look like a faggot. You are a faggot. Excuse me, excuse my terminology, but do we understand where I'm coming from in that retrospect? Like, there is a realness for them now. Unfortunately, I was a little blindsided too, but someone
like
else
surface.
educated me about it, and it
But
made
that's-
sense.
but
Because
that's-
there are people that are non-binary outside every day now, and
Yeah.
that's why it's real.
But it's
Because
true.
it's
But when we
realness.
see them, we know exactly
What they are. They are not.
But you have to
But when you see a
understand.
trans woman, you do not know exactly what she are.
Also-
That's why she's real.
Also, you have to understand, and when we're talking about GNC, if I see somebody feminine that decided to have a beard and makeup on, they may not identify as gender nonconforming. They may just be a gay male. And so that's the part that is not, it's because how can I tell you that you GNC, now you're offending somebody.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna.
Because you going up and say, oh, you GNC, and they're like, what?
Because let's be honest, as trans women, there was a time, if we going that well, then we all been GNC because we all was stuck in the middle before we crossed over.
That's what I'm saying. That's why we.
Right? Remember our young boy, I used to be a gay boy on the metro with eyeliner and lip gloss, with my hair pulled up and eyebrows stretched to the eye, but with boys' clothes on.
I just didn't know what to call it at that time because I was one of those boys as well with lip gloss and hair weaves, riding the bus to school, not knowing what to call myself
Yeah.
because there was not a space until now that it's recently created.
I mean, that's
That's the terminology. The terminology has just changed.
You know, we have a language.
Yes, Miss Thing.
Come on.
Short hair.
Miss Mama. So we can also keep.
I just feel like as the times progress, yes, we
have
do,
to
and we are though, but the thing is that everything starts from somewhere, right?
Right.
But also at the same time, I don't know if it's okay to like try to force everything into things that are already kind of like, they have blueprints. So it's like now we're kind of like, we are being innovative in ways where it's like now we're like, we have GNC face. Typically that's never really been done before. Like you have GNC fucking runway, GNC
But those are
performance,
understandable. You can see the GNC and then you can see the runway.
GNC
And
best
also,
dress.
Look, I can see the GNC, but I don't see the realness.
Okay. And mind you, you
Y'all
got.
gonna feel real different about that when bitches start dipping, talking about I'm doing your beard. Because if we gonna mix, what's that?
Well, I kind of love you had taught us a lesson before about making sure, of course, in realness, that is the thing you are. You are honoring this decision on the binary scale to appear as real, whatever the category may be. And I love how you're saying too, well, as the mantra goes, elevate or evaporate. And I do feel the ballroom space, which also leads to the next question, is it is that ground of foundation of identity and expression. I also want to honor and shout out icon Thaddeus Gorgeous Gucci, who is also believed to be a pioneer of the GNC entering the ballroom space. So if you guys don't know your history, look up the icon Thaddeus Gorgeous Gucci. Mind you, also I got to see him do his thing at the iPhone Makeup Ball this year. Shout out to House of Gorgeous Gucci. We love the shoulders we stand on. So shout out to you, icon. Now keeping in regard to today's Townhall. Hold on.
Coliseum and La Brea.
Yes, work. Put it on speaker.
No, this is where the old Walmart here used to be. I think the Max used to be here? No, it used to be Chase Bank.
Oh, we love chasing this house.
So that's where the gas station coming out the jungle with the chef Ron.
We love you, icon. This moment has been sponsored by Chase Bank, APLA, and Out Here. Icon, put
You
it
have
on
a fashion
speaker.
show here?
A fashion show?
No,
here?
that's Mac.
Yeah,
No,
hold on.
that's Jefferson. Come over on the other side. One more light over.
See your location, icon.
Oh, let me. Oh, you.
This is you guys, just give us a moment. I want to help you. Find your way back. Find your way. Yes.
It's on the bread, but it's across from the Ralphs and all of that. But it's
Like
right
California steak and fries.
Just get the flyer, please.
And they fire.
And we
Yeah.
need
behind.
the
Oh, let me see the address. Let me
Please.
text the address. What's
and
the
now peach lemonade.
Yeah. Okay.
BET Plus is sponsored this program. Shout out to Zeus too. But yes, before we transition to the next question, any closing thoughts on how realness? Okay, you ready? Yes,
I'd like
yes.
to
So,
add,
go ahead.
so what I hear from the icons and legends, we affirm the GNC, but the realness part of it is still something that has to be quantified.
It's gonna
Yeah,
take
I even take GNC sex siren because it's something appealing. You know what I mean? I can see the appeal.
That makes sense.
I can see the runway. I can see the performance.
The best dress.
I can see the
The
best
best
dress.
dress,
I
yes,
can
yes.
see all of those things. But the one thing I do not see is the realness, because I just feel like to be real, you are conforming to a certain standard, and you're saying that this is what I fit in and this is what I exude.
Right, instead of whereas we're not limiting, it just, whereas in, like I said, in realness, there's a decision being had and made.
Because realistically, they're broken down by gender roles. So
Yes.
it's like male figure, female figure, drag. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But drag are also female figures. So it's like you are technically conforming.
Yeah, no shame. First time with the drag, which one? Stevie Saturday. No, let me
Is
stop
that
that.
your GNC first time in drag? No?
By the way,
Oh yeah, well yeah, if it's not realness, you're just getting in drag at first.
did you get it?
Up in pumps.
Up in pumps. Yeah, first time. Put it on speaker icon. I'm gonna help them.
Okay, you at the front or at the bottom?
Please. Yeah, put them on speaker. Yeah. Girl. No, we live, baby. Let me put them on speaker. Who was that?
I want another pastrami.
1 second.
Go ahead, go icon. So yes, any closing thoughts before we transition?
No, let's just keep it on going.
I said,
Wait, what?
We're keeping it going.
Any close?
Oh, no. Icon, I love you. This moment has been sponsored by T-Mobile and speakerphone. Let's be clear. Yes. So, in what ways has Ballroom shaped the way that you view your own gender identity? As we just said, I believe that Ballroom is that space where queer people actually shape the culture of the world, let's be clear. So, in your own personal life, how has Ballroom shaped that or affirmed that?
Ballroom hasn't. Because I was a woman when I came into Ballroom. I knew who I was when I came into Ballroom. I don't accept anything else but the respect as a woman, because that's how I came here. So I don't feel like it shaped me in my gender identity. Now for some, it may have, and that's possible. But for me, I just don't feel like I came in Ballroom as a woman. So yeah.
Love that. Legendary Mother Tina. You want to share?
It's a little different for me because I came into it under another, walk of And to be honest, before Ballroom, I never even knew what it meant to be trans. Like, realistically, you know, like, oh, girl, I just was always a flamboyant gay boy who liked to dress. You know? And when I came to, because the first person I met, and I always tell the story to my closest friends, the first trans person I met was Shay, the icon Shay Ebony. And I was like, when they told me that she was trans, I was like, girl, what's that? They was like, I was like, what do you mean? Like, what the fuck are you saying to me? And when I finally grasped the reality of what the hell it was they were telling me, I was gagged, like floored, because that's not what I saw when I looked at her. And that kind of like opened my mind to a whole, from the first time Shay, the first time Shay met me, she was like, you're gonna be one. And I was like, girl, what the fuck is she talking about? I'm gonna be one. Like, I'm like, girl, what is she saying to me? But she told me, like, you're gonna be one. Mark my words. But that was like her way of telling me, like, Miss Mom, you're gonna cross over. And like a decade later, I crossed over, you know? So in many ways, it did play a big part in me, you know, redeveloping and coming into who I was meant to be, because I had those pillars to lean on and to come to for those, the guidance and the tips, and ideally, like, you know, it's not like this anymore, because now we're kind of like in a space where it's like, bitch, I don't need your approval. But for me, I wanted the approval of the people who I idolized and looked up to and, you know, aspired to be like. It wasn't easy. I'll say that, to say the least. You know, sometimes crossing over can be a little, you know, I think Ballroom naturally kind of creates a competitive space amongst the girls. So it was a little challenging in the beginning, and I didn't really get the seal of approval that I necessarily wanted from the people that I looked up to, because I don't know. I think as time changed, so did the resources. And when you see people kind of, you know, they don't have it as hard as it once was, it can kind of be a little, you know, like, bitch. You know what I mean? And I think that created its own hoopla. And so it was very challenging for me. But over time, like, I did start to receive those flowers, and I did get those blessings, and I did get those write-offs, because that's what I wanted. You know? So yeah.
Hey, that kind of song kicked it so hard that elevator, I almost fainted. I was gonna wake up in my grandma.
This moment has been presented by Pine Sol. The smell of squeaky clean. If you know about now, go and
To piggyback off of Tiana, I will say I also transitioned in Ballroom as well, and it was very affirming for me. Like I said, coming into Ballroom, leading senior high school, I was completely over the toply flamboyant and outspoken and out of place. And there was a place for me, I just hadn't found it yet, and there wasn't a label for me. I was fortunate enough to be exposed to trans people at a very early age. My cousin was actually transgender, so I knew at 5 years old already. I knew already.
What cousin?
My cousin passed away. Her name was Keisha. Yeah, but legendary girl from the 90s.
Word.
Yeah, legendary girl from the Boulevard, 90s girl, but that was my big cousin, and being around her was just an influence, just seeing, I would, during the summer, stay with her mom, and she lived upstairs, so she would come downstairs, and when she would come down, I would just be like so drawn to her. Yeah. And just, I would go upstairs and she would be playing RuPaul and I would, cover girl, like that whole era, like that speaks to me, even still now. And at that time, it was just so interesting to see the girls of the 90s and be in camaraderie, and it wasn't a lot of shade. They were always like getting ready to go out and go to the club or going out to do something. So I would just be on top of the bed, just sitting there like, I can't wait. You know what I mean? So realistically, my safe space has always been Ballroom, just being the simple fact that there's always been a place for me to relate. And I had a really hard time relating to people until I found this safe space. And maybe like 5 years after walking Runway, I started walking in drag, and that's when I started really like figuring it out on my own. And then I started performing outside of ballroom and performing, really learning how to express myself through my work of art really allowed me to be vulnerable and a flamboyant space to where I was received, and that's, I think, what when it clicked. I was about 21 at that time.
Yeah. 21. Thank you so much for sharing that, legendary Mother G. Now, also, Icons, restate the question for you. In what ways have ballroom shaped the way that you view your own gender identity? Has it affirmed you, or how did ballroom shape that?
That's a little hard because ballroom kind of did. I was already the one when I got started. Like I didn't grow up in ballroom. I was already transitioned when I got here. But where I did grow up was on the stage. I definitely did. I grew up on the stage in front of Ebony Lane, Mahogany, and all the girls from back in the day.
Iconic women, let's be clear.
So I think that was more of my affirmation for me, was to be in a show with people I admired and had watched, and now I am in a show. I am backstage with the girl.
No shade.
The most beautiful. Like at that time, Mahogany was the queen of all queens. Every dark-skinned queen wanted to look like Mahogany. She was the girl from head to toe. There was nothing like it. She's just unclockable. So to be able to be in the dressing room with her, hold conversations, pick up insight.
Watch her cut her back. Those moments though.
After, like she was saying, like once being around in those days, the girls were, it was a different vibe. So it was more of a camaraderie and a teaching. She knew that I was watching, and she knew that I was learning.
Yes.
So she knew she had to show me what was correct or what was best. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that was for me. Now in ballroom, I can say what it has taught me is that I have to do that for my own. So ballroom, it hasn't really taught me much about my identity. It taught me that I have to affirm other girls within their journey and in their security, and let them know that there's levels to this. We don't start out as beauty queens. You know what I mean? We have to, it's a journey. And it's, you wait. And you marinate, you wait, you bake, and you marinate. So what it did do for me was set a standard and a fire within me where I knew that if I'm bringing up girls, my girls have to be bred in a particular manner. Because I want them to feel just as invincible as I do.
Hawaiian sweet roll.
At times, you know what I mean? Like I wanted them to feel the same way I did. I wanted them to have the same gust and goal for the world. You know what I mean? I wanted them to walk out with the same amount of confidence that I had, regardless of what was hurled at you, thrown at you, spit at you, whatever the case. You still can hold your head up high and say what you gotta say and keep it pushing, just as well as anybody else. And so I think that was what resonated most for me.
I love that. I think what you said kind of flows perfectly into my next question, which as a cisgender man I take very seriously in asking, is there a clear roadmap to transitioning, or does it look different for everybody, or does it look different from the time period in which you transition? And I'll start with Legendary Gia.
Absolutely. I definitely know for sure that, I don't think that's just trans people. I think everybody has their own journey, has their own path, has their own way that they're gonna learn and live their life. So genuinely, we don't all have the same path and walk the same path, but we can all relate. I think that's the genuine sincerity from it all.
You know, I feel like the girls, they called me the microwave. I jumped in and pressed 5 and came out. I felt like I was tall and I wanted to hurry up and be done. I didn't want to wait 8 years, cry, I needed my breast tomorrow. Like, I wanted to hurry up because I just didn't want to go through the traumas and the fucking adversities with, you know, the things that come with us and living our day to day. Like, I just wanted to be fucking normal. So I did it a little more aggressively and then some, but I don't think there is necessarily a roadmap for anyone. I think it's just ultimately depending on, you know, what you want. You know, medicine is maybe it's expanding every day, you know. I mean, girl, why wait? If you can afford it and the resources are there, girl, go get it. I mean, because realistically, we're gonna be on hormones for the rest of our lives. This is now a part of like who, if you choose to. But the majority, you know, we're gonna be on hormones for the rest of our lives, you know, or get castrated. And it's a part of who we are. So it's like, girl, and the way I see it, it's just only my opinion. I feel like a transition is an everlasting thing. You're gonna constantly always transition for the rest of your life. You don't just stop transitioning tomorrow. Like, bitch, you're gonna keep transitioning. Right?
You're gonna keep getting better.
Yes. Princess, you have any views on the question?
Yeah, I agree with everyone. It's not a clear path at all. Everyone is going to be different, but we are going to have similarities because we are transgender women, and some of our experiences are the same, especially as Black transgender women. We relate on that, but how we get to where we're going is going to be individual because each of us have individual paths and it's different directions to get in.
Just to follow up, because I want to dig a little bit deeper with this. If y'all could each kind of just briefly go into like what was your experience like coming into your trans identity? How did you get started?
You're pretty.
Look at her.
It was sharp. It was, for me, my transition was actually unintentional. It was more of an experiment thing. I was young, gay boy. I just don't even like saying it. But it's
Just remember.
this young gay
So
boy,
weird.
and
It's okay though.
y'all gonna laugh because my name was Divine before I transitioned.
Bad. No.
But anyway, that was just part of my flamboyancy. I was very flamboyant. It was more of an experiment for me because I knew that I did not fit in as a general male. So, voice, face, skin, all of this, it was not working. It just wasn't working. It was just too, I looked like a little lesbian, if anything.
Yeah.
I was a
Yeah.
little
Diet.
chunky.
I love you so much. Yeah.
It was more like I met my gay mother, and through her I met other trans women. And one thing about trans women, we know another woman when we see one before she's a woman. So they were all telling me I'm going to be a woman, I'm going to be a woman. I'm like,
You're crazy.
yeah. And the more that they said it, and the more that I looked in the mirror, and then I was coming home from performing and drag shows, and then I realized that
How easy was it staying great?
that when I get out of it, I still wasn't out of it. Like I still saw the girl. So it was like, okay. They was like, well, you don't need to moan. And so I think that's how the transition came along because it was experimenting. I wanted to see what the moans really do.
Ooh, yeah.
So
The magic.
yes, I'm like, I was looking at other girls when we were growing up. They were saying that they were moaning. I'm like, oh, you are?
You are? Where?
Girl.
Where are they poking you?
Like, so I'm sitting like, well, maybe that stuff doesn't, I don't know anything about it, so I was like, maybe that stuff doesn't work for
Oh,
everybody. So
honey, it
I'm like,
works all right.
so I'm like, yeah, it does, don't it? Does that body go?
Yeah.
But, it was like that for me. It was really like, I was not like, oh, I'm gonna be a woman. It was like, see what this shit do. And then, as I was performing, and I noticed that I was getting more, I was like, oh, I think I like this. And that's honestly how I came to transition. I did not grow up wanting to be a woman. I didn't play I did play in my mommy's shoes. But, that just wasn't my thing with the wig, the whole, like, that wasn't a dancer. I didn't dance in the yard. Like, I had other gay friends that used to do Janet and all that shit. That wasn't me. I was a bookworm. Funny as I would be the one sitting on the porch reading my Anne Frank or something like that, right?
That's why you can read.
Down. If you haven't noticed.
So I was, because I'm an older girl. I'm 46. So this is
21.
This is what we did. So, like I said, it was something that I tested the water in, and I was like, okay, I think I can do this. And yeah, because I felt like when I was in public, I was more passable as a girl, dressed as a girl, than I was just being myself. Myself, it was immediate.
Yeah.
And I'm dressed up. They just looking right past. Like nobody's paying me any attention.
That self-catching privilege.
And so that's when I was like, I think I like this. I'm like, if I got even that, the boys were looking, and then that was still it.
Well, I guess I can piggyback off of that a little bit. I started walking in drag.
Fuck, I envy y'all right now, though. His hair is hot.
And it gave a sense. So after I started performing, the same thing would happen for me. Like, I wouldn't technically get up out of it. And then the next day, it would be like, I would go outside and look awkward because I had the nails with no facial hair, with the fade. It was just like, girl, find it.
Yeah, GNC.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what it was. But at that time,
GNC is what you want to be.
Yeah.
That's what they wanted to be.
At that time.
You gotta want to be GNC to be GNC.
Yes.
So
we was confused.
So then I decided that I was gonna take the transition serious once I started coming into contact with other girls that were going to a doctor's office that's local here, BART, the BART clinic. That's where I started hormones. And at that time, they were starting to help with name change credentials, and it started becoming really easy. And it was only because there was more acquaintance, there were more legends and icons that were paving the way for us to have those opportunities. And it became really, like now it's like, done.
Yeah, let's be clear. Yeah, legendary about that.
Mine is a little crazy. I think for me, I've always was super into femininity, and I would watch my big cousins and stuff get in drag and get prepared for the balls and stuff, and I always would say bitch, I'm gonna walk drag rooms, right? But I never had the guts to do it because the girls would always be, oh girl, this thing, you're gonna look funny, it's gonna be late, you're gonna be great, so wear my ass out, right? So I paid it. Because I was like, and so, honestly, just being honest, oh girl, it's gonna get funny. I'm sorry, y'all. But I don't know if y'all recall around oh my God, it's my daughter. Around, I would say 2012, when the recession got really bad. At the time, I was working 3 jobs. I was going to school. I don't even know how the fuck I was even doing ballroom. I was always doing something, right? I lost all my jobs right back to back. And my friend introduced me to sex work, right? I got introduced to sex work, and girl, if you wanted to get the coin, you would put on your wig. Girl, you would put on your bra, your spaghetti strap, and you'll go out there and do what you gotta do, right? And I started to realize, girl, I started going on alcohol. Girl, it was giving the more I did it, the more I started to feel yeah, I wanna always be in, right? Because that's where the money was at. But I wasn't understanding, I didn't realize how deep it was for me, because I didn't connect the two yet. And it took for my best friend to do the work first, to do the research, and to go see a therapist and a psychiatrist and really get all of the diagnosis information. And we were in the mall, and I'll never forget, we were eating pizza in the mall. She was reading what it meant to be trans. And when she was reading the shit, the information, we both started crying because it was like, oh my God, bitch, what?
That's me.
You mean to tell me I'm fucking crying, bitch? Like, 'cause I didn't know, like, I never took the time to do the research. I'm getting emotional, but it's the truth. I never took the time to do the research because my mom and my family is so biblical.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, Christianity is like, girl, being gay is like the worst sin imaginable. We don't care if you killed somebody. Deacon, and it was like, basically, and I cried because it was the first time I actually understood what the hell was wrong. It wasn't nothing wrong with
What
me.
do you identify?
What I identified as. And and at the time, my ex-lover, who I'm no longer with, but he was like, if this is what you want to do, like, I'll support you. And so having the reassurance from him to go through, to go through the process, I started doing it and I disappeared and I didn't tell nobody. And I came back and the girls were giving, girl, what? And, you know, like, it was given, because at first they thought I was playing. Right, grandmother? But they thought I was playing. And girl was like, no, bitch, I'm for real. And then time they looked up, I had titties, and girl, it was the whole thing. The girl was like, bitch, we really thought you was playing. I was like, oh, bitch, I was really serious. So.
What was that bad?
It was microwave.
Yeah,
But that's because I finally got the tools I needed to become who I wanted to be and what I felt. And I was able to match that. And I was like, girl, why prolong this any longer? Girl, I get it now.
Did you call me for assistance and I refused to give it to you?
She was like, girl, she said, oh no, ma'am, girl, you're not gonna waste my time, girl.
Never change.
But to be fair, though, there was, you know, people. It is like a teeter-totter in the beginning because it's like it's scary going through bodily changes and mental because it's not just physical, it's mental too. Like everything's changing and. For a minute, and that was another thing. In conclusion, and I'm gonna land the plane.
I'm gonna land the TT.
No, seriously, I think because I started to feel like I didn't realize that me finding myself, I was gonna lose the closest people around in the process. So as I'm developing, I'm also losing people. And so within losing, it makes you want to revert back.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh my God, if my mom's gonna disown me and my family's gonna get rid of me, bitch, I gotta go back. And it literally, they're just now starting to come around, but I started playing because I was like, girl, I don't want to be cast out, I don't want to be written out the will, or I don't want to. So I was like, you know what? In order for me to actually do this, I gotta go get these titties because now ain't no way back. It's like, girl, this is it. And so that's why I was moving so fast was because I didn't want to go back.
Thank you so much for sharing. Clap it up for our icons. So also, I do. No, go ahead, princess. Did you?
She
Yeah.
went first, right? Oh, okay. Go ahead. My experience was a lot different. Growing up, I always just wanted to be a woman. And I was a PK, I was a preacher's kid of a mega church in Florida. So I was in the public eye, and it just was like, God, why would, and I was true, like I was saved at the age of 7. I'm a singer, so I was ministering at that age too. So I was arguing with God, like, why would you do this to me? Just let me be a woman. Like, wake me up as a woman. I know you can do it. I know you have the power. I didn't want to be gay. I didn't want to be a gay man.
Yeah.
And so, growing up, my parents found out about me when I was 16. They kicked me out the same week I graduated high school.
Oh, well, you made it through, though.
Yeah. I graduated high school in 3 years. I'm pushing myself.
Come on.
Clap it up for my princess. Yeah.
So, right, baby, those years was tough. But even then, being out and acknowledging that I was a gay man at this time, because I didn't want to be DL, I didn't want to be someone that was dishonest.
Yeah.
But I felt like I also didn't want to be a drag queen. I just wanted to, unfortunately, be a woman, but if I couldn't be a woman, I was going to be accepted. I was going to be the gay man that people wanted to see. I was going to be the fashionable, well-rounded, educated butch queen. And that's what I portrayed for a long time. And it wasn't until I had my first boyfriend, and I was honest with him. I was like, I'm a metrosexual male. I like to put on makeup a little bit. I like to carry a little, a man bag. You know what I'm saying? And I also was a style consultant at the time. And so I was in my industry. I was in my bag. I was doing my things, and I felt like if I was to transition, I would lose my career. I would know. I seen the girls. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. I seen the girls, and I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to go through that. I was like, child, that's just, at that time, it wasn't an option. Yeah. And after I broke up with him, because he ended up breaking up with me because I was too feminine. Because I looked like a butch queen on the outside, but once you got to know me, I was a woman. A woman. So he eventually broke up with me. And it was through my godfather, Bishop O.C. And sitting under his teaching that I realized, why did I feel like God would leave me? Why would I feel like God would leave me if I was to transition, if he was with me as a gay man? Amen. And so I laid on my face, I cried, and I prayed. And it was in those moments that God gave me permission to be exactly who he called me to be. And he started to replay dreams, and he started to replay all of things that he placed in me as a child. It wasn't a mistake that I wanted to be a woman. It wasn't a mistake that I wanted to be who I wanted to be. But I was ordained to be who I am. And he could have made me a cisgender woman, but who he wanted my life to touch, and my life is so much bigger than me. So I needed to be in position for someone else. And the impact is greater as exactly who I am. So.
Oh my shit. Yes, okay, perfect. We got to keep it going, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God. Yeah, so also too, I do want to circle around a previous topic, or one that's on the tips of so many, because also been a legend of the Kiki scene. The Kiki was recently had to be like this. So, the category is realness. Should we get rid of it, or should we keep it? Please. Now, go ahead, let your mother Tiana start.
I think we should keep it. I think that we talk about inclusion, right? Yeah, we talk about everybody feeling welcome and into these spaces, and there are some people who want to identify as real, and I don't think we should exclude it because it can be a little controversial. I think there's controversy in everything, right? So I don't think that we should start minimizing or taking away from. I think we just need to, as Gia said, we need to adapt with the times. I don't think in the direction of realness per se, but I definitely think there's other things and other avenues that we can explore that we probably haven't. But yes, she's staying.
She's staying. One second a while.
One higher. No, but realistically, I just think that, I get the all-inclusion perspective, but I think as a whole, I don't think it's really doing any justice, per se. Me seeking, just in that retrospective, being a performer, I also understand, when you go to a ball, it's kind of like, you want to be entertained. And to me, as an entertainer, that is the least entertaining category. It is a little bit of a wow factor, but beyond that, it's not much to it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's really my only real reason.
Can I ask her a question?
I actually want to get real controversial for a second, but I'll let you go.
I just want to say, because those shade brutus can be entertaining, right? Because I feel like, even though it can be also demeaning, but it's just for those 5 seconds. But I feel like, girl, when they be going, they like, girl, stop playing with me in this thing. Like, girl, it's girl. To me,
Prodigy ball. Legendary Realness with an Understudy was the most entertaining thing I've ever seen.
Legendary
Prodigy Ball
Realness.
2023, Legendary Realness with an Understudy.
Was
Go
the
watch the clips.
understudy the realness too?
Yes.
But to be fair though, ballroom is a competitive space. Your goal is
eating and talking shit though.
yeah, but even with runway,
That's why I don't like that.
even with runway though, girl, there's certain hand gestures, there's certain things that you could speak with just
Yeah,
girl, because what this means to me is girl is trash. You know what I mean? Like, girl, get it out of here. So I feel like there's in everything, there's controversy. That's why I'm saying like there's literally controversy in everything. Face is like it's the category of the beauty, and mostly based upon European standards, right? So you basically tell your homegirl with the eccentric features, like, girl,
It's not
it's
it.
not it. So do we get rid of face because all the girls are chiseled, or like it's like we kind of just maybe we create something like actually they do have it, exotic face. They do have it. You just
well, I mean, exotic is over our mother.
Hi.
You better plug your house.
Here comes the realness icon.
That's the icon type lady.
Well, first off, I don't see how desecrating realness would do anything for ballroom. How dare you? Ballroom was built on that. That's been one of the categories since day one. And now that you come in with your millennial attitude, not you.
Yeah, I'm with you, sis.
The girls, because I understand why you want to change because all that reading and shit, I don't like that either.
Yeah.
I don't like.
the category for
I
that.
love realness. I don't like what it's turned into. I just talked to my film queens about walking up there and immediately wanting to go at it with a girl and demean her. We're supposed to be embracing one another. So, and if you ever notice, when I walk realness, I just stand there. I don't argue. It's nothing. Everything is right here that you need. Unless you want to hear my voice, I'll let you hear me say, hi, how you doing? What's good? But other than that, for me, I don't have to, I'm not going to sit here and demean her for entertainment. And then and if you want to demean me for entertainment, in my eyes, that's not real. That's just showing just how much of a little gay boy that you are inside.
The house.
So, not to insult anyone.
No, you get that.
So, for me, the realness is a must. It's a must. It's part of ballroom. I couldn't imagine ballroom without realness. Like, it's just, some of the hypest balls and moments in ballroom came from walking realness.
One gorgeous Gucci.
I remember, because I agree with everyone, that because I've been back here before, yes, because like you said, when you are starting to read somebody and starting to poke out their imperfections, you don't understand as trans women, we deal with dysphoria.
Yeah.
And we deal with that already, and now you're gonna stand up here and try to point out the very thing that I know. You know what I'm saying? Like that is just like it can be hurtful. It can, and we shouldn't be doing that. But on the other hand, that is something that started ballroom, and this is a ballroom place. We didn't start this. This is not. It's like me being a Miyake Mugler and saying I'm gonna do it my way. And that's the iconic house. So like I didn't start Miyake Mugler. I have to follow the rules that are in place.
Go ahead.
It's like cooking. Once you change the ingredient, it's no longer gumbo. It's not a cookie. It's not a cake. It's your creation.
Yeah.
So, to everyone, ballroom is not your creation. It's something that you joined that was already
Yes.
created.
Honoring that legacy before you.
Yes.
Icon.
And that's what I mean.
Thanks for that.
So I did say I wanted to take this a little controversial. I saw a lot of hoopla on Facebook this past week about my sister, Kiara Garcon, who is known as drag villainous, winning grand prize at a ball, I want to say in Minnesota, for Pretty Boy Realness. Is realness still a lifestyle, and are people allowed to play in that realness? What do you all think about a drag switching it up and then walking Pretty Boy realness and winning?
I feel like it depends on the house that they're in. I feel like realness is a lifestyle. That is who you are. That's why you're real, because you are that 24/7. But I understand everybody is trying, like you said, changing the times. And now you're going to be at a ball, now you popping in. But you just outside cackling and go, yeah. But I feel like it should be a lifestyle. I just feel like that was real, like, I don't know, it was real weird, and I don't think I like weird stuff. So, yeah, I love her down. I love her down, but love you down, baby. But that was weird.
Okay, so I definitely know that at one point there was, in the early 2000s, they would do like, basically you would come and get your tins out of drag, and then at the end of the ball, you would come back in drag for runs.
Yeah, I believe
In Chicago.
I think is that where it
I'm
came
sorry,
from, or Detroit?
Detroit.
Detroit, that's where it came from, Detroit originally. And for me, I feel like, yeah, if you're real, in and out. Right?
No burger.
But it was pretty bro, it was not come in and drag and come out.
Wait, you came to the ball?
And while drag's running.
No, he came to the ball as a boy.
As a
Yeah,
boy,
and while pretty boy running.
yeah, because he was.
It's still a realness category.
Yeah, okay,
There
so
was a lot of controversy on
So that means it's no longer a lifestyle.
to me, it should be a lifestyle, but for some judges, it's about what you portray in the moment and at that ball. And even though it may be a lifestyle, let's be clear, within our lives, we do change. And within our lifestyle, our style does change. So, I'm not speaking to that particular scenario, but I'm thinking if I saw somebody that portrayed a different gender, now this week or something, they're coming in and they're gonna do butch queen, blase. I think my instinctual thing would be to judge what is in front of me. And what I'm interpreting at this particular moment. Now, what will determine you beating the next person in the back of my head will probably be what I see outside of this. If I just saw you outside jumping double jump, kick in with your homegirl with a wig on, and now you're coming in walking thug realness. Yeah, I may give you your 10s, but then that's gonna play back to me. And I'm gonna look at this other guy that I always see exuding this certain persona and has never broken. And I'm gonna say, you know what? It is the lifestyle. But I accept what you're bringing, so I didn't chop you. It's okay. But that's not what I prefer.
That's real.
That's real. That's real. Okay, go ahead, let's go to Brother Jim.
Oh.
And I think the reason why there was so much controversy is because the majority of the BQIB, particularly drag realness, girls, they can only walk drag realness. You know what I mean? If that's what they're, you might see them walk runway, they might play a little best dress, but the majority of the time, like, they're drags. You know what I mean? And I think her being innovative, because, you know, that's how you make shit hot, right?
Yeah.
You break it the fuck up,
What does she
right?
look like tonight?
Yeah, they look fast.
And she actually won Schoolboy.
Yeah.
Schoolboy.
It was Schoolboy. But I think people are so used to things being in one ear. And that way, when you come out of drive and you go into neutral, or you go into anything else, the girls go up. But I understand the frustration at the same time too. Because it's like, you know, there's people who work really hard at their craft and at those categories in particular who are bona fide, undeniably their category. And then you have someone who is, you know, a 3-time drag realness of the year, and now all of a sudden she want to come over here and double dutch in my yard. And it's like, this is not your ministry, right? But that's your opinion. The only opinion that matters that night is the girl sitting up here. So if the girls sitting up here are buying it, then girl, what you're going through is your business. And and she won. Do I think she should be ready for it? Publicly online? No. Should the girls be allowed to pound a roaster behind closed doors like normal people like back in the day? Absolutely. And I think we should go back to those times. I hate this online social media belittling, bullying shit. Like I hate it. And especially when it comes down by the dozen. The black sheep?
No, not a score sheet, but
The spreadsheet?
at the ball, at the next ball, it would be like.
The recording?
You just mentioned it.
Yeah, the document.
Recorder sheet.
Yeah.
It was, is it the recorder sheet?
Stat sheet.
Stats? No, but not just the stats, but like on the flyer, it would talk about at the last ball.
Order of categories.
No.
Oh, wait, what?
You said it was like,
Slate sheet.
yes, the slate
Slate
sheet.
sheet, slate
So
sheet.
basically, like, you, at the ball, whichever ball that just happened at the next ball, you would sit at your table and there would be like a sheet of like all of the scandals that happened during each category. So you would like read about it. Like,
Which girls wanted to
newspaper. Yeah.
meet up that night. Well, actually,
Slate
it
sheet.
was like the National Enquirer for Ballroom. That was actually my theme here.
Lady, whistle down.
Work icon, y'all. What's icon? Yes. And also
I wanted
too.
to do one. It's so funny. I wanted to do one for this ball so bad, but I just feel like the millennials,
You better bring it back.
No, it is the millennials. The sensitivity level
Oh,
is
girl.
too.
Which
Like I
icon?
don't. I always felt like
I want
I
first one. I want all the shade.
If but if I write it the way that I write, and these girls know that I do write,
Yeah.
I feel like I could get canceled.
Oh, girl, you an icon. Don't tell you.
They done it already.
Yeah, right, no shade.
Do it again.
Y'all saying that
They
too.
can cancel you again. Well, I canceled my Netflix the other day. But, yes. Shout out.
I did, but it was such a thing for me. I couldn't even bring myself to do it. I was like, these girls are.
They're gonna have my head.
Yeah, I was like, they're gonna be pissed off, boycott the ball.
They just so
Chopper.
Yeah,
good,
they
though.
just be
It
like.
was like the media takeout.
It was,
at
and
every
it
ball.
made us want to come here.
Yeah,
I broke my
'cause you
ankle
wanted
off
to-
of frustration.
I'm sorry. Icon, you a person that we love it. We love you.
Feel like it made us read that and be like,
No shade.
I just want to see, man.
Adam, the girls want a slave sheet. I mean, you are the new media. So.
Okay. We'll teach them. Now, also, too, for context, we'll let you. Also, just for context, as legendary Mother Tiana was saying, BQID is an acronym in Ballroom for Butch Cleanup and Drugs. So yes. So just so you know, for the girls that are new, for the kids, know your history. Now, thank you so much for those viewpoints. Now, the next question: in what ways do you think the trans experience has changed from when you first started your journey to now? I know you brought up resources and things, so let's unpack it. What you saying? Let's start with Icon.
Well, for me, it's
an assembly line.
No offense. You know I'll be fucking. It's an assembly line now because now I'm gonna be honest. I come from a time where the resources that are available now, they might have been available then, but they were not trusted. If you went to get a JJ, it would look like somebody cut a hole and put your hair over it. Yeah.
Alright.
If you go to get your breast done, one could be northeast and the other one pointing north south. So those were things that people from my era, we were like, oh, we don't want that. Like, 'cause, you've seen so many, out of 10 surgeons in those days, 7 of them were botched. You did have girls that was like, oh, bitch, I want to do that. And you look over it like, oh, we don't want to do that. So it was that. So now things are much more advanced.
Oh, baby.
And so a girl can go and decide that she's gonna be a woman in January and be on the table in March, and then get on the table again probably that summer, and then one more time each. And so within 9 months, baby.
She's a chapter mother.
Yeah.
Let's be clear. Let's be
Oh
clear.
my God.
Let's be clear.
Very assembly line. One hit, we're going here. We're going nose, teeth, hairline, trachea, next, trachea, shade. Wow, that's one hit. You go for, that's how they do it. One section, boom, everything in here. We got that. Now we're gonna go wham, waist, hip, boom. We did that. Then we're gonna go back for a second session, or we're gonna go back and fix something else.
And then.
Gucci, yeah, believe.
For those girls that like it.
Yeah, girls like that,
So,
not girls like us.
when I say assembly line, it's like nose, teeth, hair, breast, BBL. You're a woman, ta-da!
Phenomenally.
Yes.
But that wasn't the case for us. So you know what I'm saying? But I has definitely changed to the point where I don't even mind to jump on the table too. Bitch.
AI.
Back and forth a couple more times, baby. But you know, it's not that now. It's trusted. The girls look better. I don't think it's for everybody. Now, I do feel like transition has become oversaturated because it's so easy, and I feel like a lot of girls are not. Oh, I should not say this.
I can't. This is this. We have to hear it here first.
I shouldn't say it, but I'm gonna say it. I feel like a lot of girls are not real trans women or not real transition. They're just trans ready. So meaning I dress up, I do this, I get boys, I go out in public, but when I come home, I'm a whole dude.
Yeah.
Mannerism, the way I carry myself. I mean, to me, I don't want to be insulted. To be a woman, you live as a woman. You should know that when you walk in my house without me, a woman lives here.
Amen.
You ain't gonna
Smell it.
like and when you walk in my house, just the smell alone.
J'adore Dior.
A woman lives here. The way I carry myself, the way I present myself, my hygiene, all of those things. To me, because I know that everybody don't feel that way, but to me, those are the things that make you a woman. And why? Because I look at my mom.
Hey, girl.
I look at my mother, a woman, and those are the things that I admire about her. Her beauty, the way that she keeps the house, her style, the way she smells, the way that she hangs her clothes in her closet, her organization, the way that she carries herself. I love those things about that woman and lots of other women. So those are things that I picked up, and I feel like that's what makes me a woman. Period.
She got
It's out of here. I feel like a woman now too.
I do want to say a lot of things that were said to me by older trans women I didn't understand, but I do understand now. Because a lot of one of the things that was said was like, oh, girls, an experiment, they're all look the same, girl, they got one formula, girl, they're etching out the same mug on every girl, it's given a science project experiment, and to be honest, yes, time and resource and medicine has expanded and progressed. But at the same time, please do your research on these surgeons and the people you let cut and operate on your body. Because yes, people only talk about the good stuff. They don't talk about the nightmares and how many times you have to have a revision or girls, because there are horror stories out there. So yes, be excited, jump on the table if you must, but at the same time, it is extremely important to do your research. And the surgeons are going to tell you, you need this chin implant, you need this rhinoplasty, you need this lip lift, you need this brow shave, you need this hairline, you need this, you need that, you need this. We're going to inject fat into your cheekbones. We're going to do all these things, but you may not want all those things. But because this person is trained to tell you,
You need this.
this is what you need to be a woman, you kind of make these rash decisions and you feel like I have to get all this based off of what this licensed doctor is telling me that I need. But the way that I did it, particularly with my face, is like, girl, I said I'm gonna start a lip too. I lip too. Because if I go and get all this shit right now, baby, how am I not gonna know if I like
You
it?
can't ball it up and throw it away.
You can't take it back. You can't.
It's done.
It don't come with a receipt. You can say, you know what, I changed my mind. It's like, girl, when you play with your mug, you're playing with. That's how you introduce yourself. That's the first thing people see. So with that, it's like you want to be a lot more meticulous with what they do because
Do the research. Don't have a dentist doing your nose job. Period. Like you can't have an eye surgeon giving you breast. I'm sorry. Like I know that's how it goes. If you guys go do the research on a lot of these things, a lot of these surgeons that are doing the eye surgeries, the cosmetic surgeries, that's not even what they specialize in. That's just a class that they certified to do, and because they are already certified in the medical field, they can branch out and play with anything that they want to play with. But for me, if you're not specialized in what you do, then I don't want to use you because I'm special. Everything about me is special. So I need special treatment and somebody who is a specialist in what they are doing on any of my special parts.
The house.
Harris.
Yes, Princess, did you have any?
Yeah, I agree. I feel like, I feel like it is a rush, and everyone knows I always say this. I feel like you should take your time, because now you go and you rush and you have all these surgeries. Now the hormones got to catch up to the surgeries because you're hard and you're not broken down. Your body has to break down. You have to be soft. If they don't have a soft surface to work on, it's not going to come out great. And you're looking up to girls that took their time.
It'll be just like that. Girl, it's supposed to move.
And so the girls that people look up to, those girls took their time. They moaned, they got soft, and then they went, then they went to the surgeon, and then they had these surgeries. And do your research. I was very blessed. I went to my doctor and I said, I want this. And he said, no. No, you don't need that. But I do see where I can maybe do this and that. And so that was a great doctor.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta get a doctor that is going to say, no, I feel like this is for you to look natural.
Yeah.
A woman.
Like, that's the type of doctor that you want to go to.
The final question I was going to ask, what advice would you give a person that is contemplating transitioning or diverging from the binary? But I think y'all have covered that pretty well throughout this. So now I'm going to open it up to audience questions. Do we have any questions in the audience for the icons, legends, and princess? Going once.
Safe space.
Going twice.
Ask them now, not on the panel. One shot.
I'm the beginning, girl.
Yeah, one shot.
Pastrami it is.
Okay, well, I will ask this question. What is one thing that each of you would tell your 7-year-old self?
Wait, what?
What is one thing each of you would tell your 7-year-old self?
Start early. Don't let that puberty kick in, mama.
Stop now.
Break me down now, bitch. As soon as I hit 13, baby, T-blocker me, please, bitch. Baby, you're down, because you know the doctors say you gotta wait to get a little teen, okay, she's a little more familiar with anatomy, and, so it's like, I would want to start so much earlier. Like, I don't say I envy, it's a strong word, but no shade, like Allie Mark Jacobs, like, I fucking live for her, because it's like, bitch, you know, if I would have started at your age,
It's because of us.
and it's like, she got these bite-sized feet in her hands and everything's still real crunchy and adolescent-like. And girl, she's gonna stop the progress and slow it down and she's gonna be the daintiest thing. Like, that's what I would have told my 7-year-old self, mama. Watch less Lion King or National Geographic and ID and Discovery. Like, get acquainted with what's going on, get familiar. Because
That's like, go there.
All right.
Word, 7-year-old legendary mother.
I would tell my 7-year-old self, you're right. You are absolutely right. Whatever you are feeling, go with your gut. And I masked a lot of myself as a child because I was told that it was wrong. I was told that there was something wrong with me. And, sorry.
Take your time.
It's just, for me, I think that's what I really still tell myself now is, this whole time, bitch, you was right. You knew it. You knew it first. And I think that's, I think that's something that a lot of us can identify with, but we ignore it. You know what I mean?
I my 7-year-old self, what I would have told myself, don't wait to the 9th grade to start slapping bitches.
I'm so sorry.
What?
This moment has been sponsored by Zeus.
It's a reason because as a little kid, I was bullied. Because I was so little and feminine, so you know what I mean? And a lot of times, I came up from a household where all adults were right. So even when an adult said something that was really, I knew that was wrong, I couldn't tell my mom because adults were right. They didn't, you know, in my mind, it was like, well, she don't believe because all adults is right anyway. You know, just at 7, I lived in a torture zone that I didn't know that I could be free from. I kind of tucked myself into that torture zone. You know, I allowed things to happen to me that I know should not. But because I was raised in such a dignified manner, I felt that I did not have the right to say anything, or I should not. It would be improper to say anything or to do anything. You know what I mean? And then it would be sissified to always come and tell what they're doing to you. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I just had to learn to kind of deal with that when I was young, but then I got to it was a day that I snapped, and after that day I snapped, everything was fine. I should, because from that first day that I had got a taste of blood, and I knew that I had fight in me, and I could fight back, and I could do some damage, it's been hell ever since. You know what I'm saying? Damn right. Like when I realized that I could say something back, and I could slap somebody, or I could jump up and go off, or I could fight back, or I didn't have to let nobody take nothing from me and not say anything. Oh, that was it. So, yes, to my 7-year-old self, I would have said start earlier, because I feel like there's so many bitches I missed out on. Like, I just so many.
You gotta see it in your face.
You still want her? I do. I feel like there's so many things that I missed out on because I was withholding myself. I was, you know,
Policing in a way, right?
Because I just felt so little in this big world. So I'm just like, God, I don't want to say anything. They're not going to believe me.
That voice.
Yes, very bad. So, like I said, once I learned my power, oh, it was on. So I would have loved to learn that power at 7 and still have the control that I have now. Now, would I have been walking around just punching people out? Hell no, never. Okay. But just to be able to stand up for myself with the same vigilance I started to have when I was in high school.
Right.
In the end of June, yes. If I had that fight and fire in me, then so many things would be different. I feel like so many opportunities were missed because I just didn't want to even go and do those type of things because I didn't want to be around them people. I just rather go home, read my books, watch me on TV, go in my room.
All right, King.
Yeah, and just do that. That was my thing.
My 7-year-old self, I would tell my 7-year-old self that God is so much bigger. Because I feel like that was my hesitance on being me. I didn't want to lose God. When my parents kicked me out and cut me off, I didn't, God was all I had. And he really showed me who he was. And I felt like, Lord, I don't want to go this far because I can't lose you. And I felt like God knew that I was never going to lose him. And he always was going to be there. And he actually had ordered my steps to be exactly who I am. Life would have been a little more easy. Just a tad, because it's like, if God accepted me, I don't.
That's
Feel
crazy.
less.
That's crazy. I grew up in church, I grew up going to church every Sunday, acting like choir, the whole 9. And I didn't believe in God. I kind of did. I'm not gonna say I didn't believe in God. But I didn't have that that belief because I was like, if it's a guy, what the hell am I going through this? Why are you letting these people do this to me? Why are you letting this happen to me? So me and my spirituality didn't come into way later in life when maturity set in and I learned to understand. You know what I mean? But at that time growing up, I was in church probably 3 days a week.
Bible study.
Yeah, all of the pages. All of the pages. And I just did not. I was just like, this couldn't be real because if it is, I don't mess with nobody. Why is somebody with me? You know what I mean? So I just didn't feel like I just didn't feel like
Well, I want to thank each and every one of you for giving us those answers. I wanted to ask that because we know through psychology, everybody has that 7-year-old person in themselves that they have to protect. When we're having this conversation about identity, I think it's important for us to go back and check on that 7-year-old self. So I appreciate you ladies for being vulnerable. So right now I'm going to do something a little different. I want to give each one of you your flowers. You give me chrysanthemums though. You give me a chrysanthemum type of girl. I just want to say I have a very special connection to each and every one of you. And I thank God for each and every one of you, and not only what you bring to Ballroom, but what you bring to this community. Mother, I'm not gonna cry, but you know how I feel about you. Congratulations on starting this West Coast chapter of Miyagi. But that is an accomplishment within itself to bring an international iconic house to a new territory. So I want to give you your flowers in a public forum and say thank you for bringing me and my brother into that space, but for all you do for our house.
We love you for
The icon, I don't want to get emotional. But coming into Ballroom, I'm going to be honest, you are a very intimidating figure.
Let's be clear.
I would see you on the panel and I will always want to get you to live for me or to respond. I was very intimidated. It's not until I got to work with you that I really saw your heart and your passion and really understood the woman that you are. And you really are a phenomenal woman.
No shame.
The more I get to sit at your feet and learn from you and glean from you and really get to understand why things are the way they are on the West Coast and all the things that you fought for and put into place, I don't think enough people give you the respect and the flowers that you are due.
And brother, also too, because I want to honor, I remember in the meantime recently, Icon was on the way out, leaving the event, and literally stayed with us kids and spoke for us for an extra hour. And she was already set to be somewhere else. But thank you for taking the time to pour and nourish and water us. No shame. Let's be clear.
You're definitely standing on your shoulders. Up and coming icon, Gia. Thank you for always being available to us new girls on the block. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your talent. But we're working with you. I don't know if you realize this, but you are the reason why I always pay my ballroom talent. Because one of the first conversations we ever had, and I'll tell you, I respect a woman that is about her coin. And you said, is there going to be compensation? And I had to, within myself, be like, of course. I have to make it available for us to pour back into each other, for making it available for those of us that are surviving off of being in the arts and surviving being in Ballroom, for us to be able to eat with any space that we occupy. So thank you for teaching me that valuable lesson. And thank you for always giving me your yes. TT, congratulations on your new appointment as West Coast Mother, St. Laurent. I saw that on Facebook last week.
No, bitch, I am the mother.
I saw it on Facebook, so I said I'm gonna say it here. Overall, West Coast Mother. Is that right? Anyway, congratulations on your new appointment. I love seeing you with your babies and seeing the way that you mother your house. It is very beautiful. I've known you for eons, and seeing the woman that you have become really puts a smile on my face. You have always been the same gracious, beautiful, kind spirit. And with everything that you have been through, to see that you are still that same sweet, beautiful, kind spirit, it is very beautiful to experience. So I thank each and every one of you for sitting on this panel and lending your stories and being vulnerable and sharing this experience. We love you and we celebrate you. We know this is going to be a fabulous weekend for everybody. Thank you for kicking off your West Coast Awards weekend with us out here. And Byron's going to give a few announcements.
No shade, botanicals. We love you ladies for sure, and how you lead not only your chapters, your houses, but our region overall. No shade. Cause like Prodigy Ball weekend was and Alpha Omega weekend, seeing us out there.
Yeah.
No shade. Like I feel the West Coast. I'm so happy to be a part of the West Coast now. No shade. Also, to a special thank you to West Coast Ballroom Entertainment. Adam, we thank you for documenting our visibility, our ascension, and the legacy what Ballroom has, is, and will forever be, okay? There's no we will without the Liz on today, let's be clear. As we all know, this is the official launch of the West Coast Ballroom weekend. On tonight, we had our town hall put on by my brother. Shout out to you and out here. Hell, clap it up. Tomorrow, I have the pristine honor of collaborating with the West Coast father, Juicy Couture, who's also legendary Jeremy Gorgeous Gucci, Devon's son, for the Kiki Ball, the first official ball of the weekend, which is the new era ball. Tomorrow, over here, 5600 Jefferson. It's myself and Jeremy. Come outdoors, open at 7. Y'all know the function gonna start when the function start. We're gonna win, let's be clear. Of course, Saturday, the big kahuna, the Kachi, the grand prize, and of course the Oscar of them all, the West Coast Ballroom Awards, an official ball by our icon, divine and legendary, Dolores Ninja, N-I-N-J-A. And of course, Sunday we have the legendary Sundays in honor of my grams, Dr. Stephon Wallace, and of course put on by my father, legendary Jamari Mark Jacobs, which will happen Sunday night. We will be starting that night with the balloon release at 9 o'clock. The categories are up. Most of them will be like shades of purple, of course, but come and support the balloon release. That's
Shades of purple?
Some of the categories shades of purple. I think in town, so yeah. Then of course there's instructions on the balloons as well, but LA is kicking off the balloon release in his honor. Then of course there are other regions, so check his page and Dr. Stephon Wallace's page as well to support. And then Monday, what's he giving Monday for the girls that are still in town?
We are back with POV. I think we might have a new instructor.
Oh yeah.
Yes, Gia has agreed to be our new POV runway instructor. We'll be back with POV this upcoming Monday. Tuesday we have hip hop here, hip hop classes on Tuesdays from 7 to 9. Thursdays we'll resume BQT, which is led by Ryan Dunstan in the back. And just stay tuned. The programming is not going to stop. This is the beginning of a lot of initiatives that we are launching out here to be a resource for community and to uplift community. So thank you for rocking with us the last 6 months, and we have so much more in store. So make sure you follow the Healthy Him and Out Here pages for updates. Thank you so much for joining us. Please take that food again. That was brought to us by King's Deli, which is Rosie Juicy Couture Ninja. It's a fabulous deli in Burbank. If you're ever in the area, it's King's Deli. Thank you so much. Get home safe. Good night. Oh, Greg is having a ball.
Yes. Tomorrow before my ball, the pregame will be the unique ball put on by legendary Greg, as we all know from Reach. It will be commentated by my father's legendary Jamari Mark Jacobs. That's tomorrow from 4 to 6 p.m. at Grand Park on North Grand. Yes.